This podcast is powered by Mill Lions. Use discount code HARDNEWS10 for a 10% discount on your festival outfit.
Do you know, like, this as example, have you watched South Park?
Yeah.
The guy who can't talk and it has always like this thing on it?
Yeah.
That's how I feel at the moment. I'm bored already, let's kick it off.
Yes, great to have you on the first ever English episode of Plafonddienst, the hardstyle podcast. Yeah, it's not in Dutch this time. We finally doing this in English.
Yeah.
Same format, same vibes, because we talk about everything hardstyle related, festival related, and everything in between, from the backstage chaos and everything that makes sense to the scene. And we're really glad to do this finally. Finally in English. Here goes the first hiccup. Okay, there we go. My name is Wouter from Hard News, and always with us is Marijn, better known as Flux Overload.
Hello.
I even say it in English now.
Yeah,
Flux
Flux
Overload. Damn. Marijn, we're speaking now to a wider international audience
Yes.
for our guest today.
Yeah.
But what does Plafonddienst even mean?
I think it's called like insomnia for people that have some trouble sleeping. And that's what the whole podcast is all about festival frustrations, where you stay awake at night for. How do you say that? Ja, die ga je... to make it like concrete, like what Plafonddienst means, it's actually called ceiling service.
Literally translated. Yeah, the thing is that always after a festival, you're still full of adrenaline, or maybe something else. But anyway, you're always laying down in bed and you're like, fuck, I can't sleep. So your heads keep on spinning as in, okay, this subject comes up and this subject. Oh, this festival was her.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here. We're discussing all the festivals in some kind of after party setting. So welcome. Thank you for listening. And just let us know if you would like to have any other English guest or whatsoever. But our first ever, the debut of the English guest in Plafonddienst. Our guest of today has brought his raw power to festivals all over the world, from Knockout to Decibel. But just recently, he announced his farewell. His journey is coming to an end. Some call him Big K. Some call him the Major of Zaltbommel. But most people in the scene know him as a relentless force behind the decks. Tall in presence, huge in energy. Give it up for Big K, Imperators.
Hey.
Bro, after this introduction, bro, my ego is pumped. Hey.
Kevin, great to have you here as the first English guest on Plafonddienst. How are you feeling, man?
Bro, I'm fantastic, right? I'm happy you guys do it now in English. I've seen all the other episodes, right? I'm trying to learn Dutch, but of course in English it makes it for me, myself, and I way easier. Mm-hmm. And I believe also for a lot of other people out there. You know?
Yeah, we got a lot of questions about the English podcast. And you also mentioned it like multiple times. If you want to get some views, do it in English. We always thought, okay, artists should express themselves in their native language. But the same goes for the international artists, of course. So we're stepping up our game. We've Duolingo today. We've Duolingo the shit out of English. And here we are. So thank you for coming, big man.
Thank you for having me, right? It's an honor. I really like this concept. And I'm curious where this road goes today.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to speak Dutch?
No. Well, look, it depends. My vocabulary is just not super big, right? For the Dutch people, kijk, ik praat een beetje Nederlands. Ik kan ook alles verstaan. Ik kan een normale conversatie hebben, maar echt, mijn vocabulary is echt dit.
Yeah.
Dit. So for me, like I said, if people talk Dutch to me, I understand it. I speak normally English back because it's for me easier.
And way easier, indeed, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't need to think too much, with Dutch. I'm then search for words and everything, and then, it's also... When you stumble yourself through a conversation, it's a tough cookie for everyone.
Basically how we're feeling right now.
Yeah, exactly that indeed.
You guys are doing more than fine. Wouter, you speak fantastic English.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good as well.
Marijn, of course, as well, right? I don't want to treat anyone here.
English overload, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin, you just made your announcement that you're quitting Imperators. But before we get to that, let's jump in that time machine and go back to your first beginnings in hardstyle, because you grew up in Germany, of course.
Yes.
When did you get in touch with hardstyle?
Look, that is a good point. I think I got in touch with hardstyle around 2007, 2008. The first thing which comes to mind when I think back to that is I hear Alpha Twins Climax 2006 when they came on stage with this white hair, this
costumes.
Is it called a melon or like a cylinder hat on, and then they open with the Power of the Dark Side. Bro, that is for me still one of my core memories I had, because that was the first time really realizing, okay, there's more than just, scooter or something like what the Germans may know, right? By the way, that's what my dad calls techno. Well, so
Okay.
I'm coming from a really small village with more cows than humans, and hardstyle was never a thing by anyone there.
I can imagine. So how did you get in touch with it? You just went down the YouTube rabbit hole?
A friend of mine showed it to me randomly. He's like, look at these weird dudes right on stage. I don't even know how he came at. Shout out Alex for introducing me to this. But it's from there it slowly but surely took over. Like around 2006, you didn't have Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube was like a premium thing, because you didn't have YouTube Premium by that time. You know what I mean? So listening music and consuming music was not the easiest. The first track I remember I had on my MP3 player was D-Block and Estefan and Koen Crank. It's released 2008 or 9.
Yeah, something like that.
That was one of the first tracks I really remember like actively having on my MP3 player. Right?
Damn, long time ago.
that is really long time ago. So I'm listening to stuff already for a good amount of time. Probably longer than some of our listeners are old at the moment.
Probably, yeah.
Congrats, we're all old fucks. If we're going to the next chapter, as in, when did you get in touch like professionally for music or making music? Did you download the Fruity Loops illegal?
Look, I can't confirm or deny this, but there's a website called Pirate Bay.
Yeah,
but yes,
we've all been there.
Yeah, we have my first version of FL. I got from a friend, right? So to not incriminate him. But I got it from a friend. I didn't bought it myself, and then just playing around. There was a time, you have to understand, there were no harder classes. There were no production courses. There was YouTube tutorials were basic as, if even there were YouTube tutorials, because screen recording was also not the most common thing around that time, know? So getting into it took me a long, long time. And trust me when I say, and it's the same what I tell everyone if I have tips for producers, just even though you fucking hate it, open it up again and try again. You have no idea how often I closed Fruity Loops and nothing came out of it.
Yeah.
You know the story. You at some point maybe opened the FL up as well.
I've did it once. Okay, I'm just a journalist, so I believe that I should know every aspect within the festival scene. So I try to DJ. That's pretty doable.
You look like a house DJ to me, my friend.
DJ Salt Bay.
Hey.
No, but seriously, I tried producing, and after 2 days, hearing the same kick over and over again, I was...
Bro, I'm happy that you came already to a kick. You know what I mean? When I started, sample packs was not it. Frontliner sample pack, to all the producers out there, let me know in the comments if you have it, because that was the thing which got me started. But yeah, and anyways, I got to with production around 2012, 2013, maybe. It took me a long time to even get into like starting it. I first needed to go to my first festivals.
What was your first festival?
I think one of my very first events I've ever been to was Reverse, because that was 16 plus.
Yeah.
And then we traveled with a bus from Hamburg, 11 hours down to fucking Antwerpen,
Jesus.
Of all places, right? Had the party, and then my friend with 60 smelly guys and girls in the bus, no shower, 11 hours back.
And then you're still at the party.
That was fucking horrible. But that were my first encounters with hardstyle, so to say. I also met the first time I've been to a party like DJ Koen and stuff like this in the crowd. So for me, it was like
legendary.
But that was so cool. And then it was Reverse, Syndicate I've been to in Germany, and Free Festival. I think those are my first 3 I really remember. And then Rebirth Weekend, and was that Weekend already? Yeah, it was Weekend already. Did they always do weekend?
Yeah, they did already have like
Saturday,
multiple days,
Saturday,
but
Sunday,
no camping.
Saturday, Sunday, I think they did in the beginning.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, true.
I'm not 100% sure, but those are like my first events I really, really vividly remember of like, of going as a visitor. And, you know, we all come to the point, you know, when you listen to hardstyle, like, do you live it or do you just listen it?
Yeah.
You know, and I was more option living it, right? You know, when Facebook came up and then all these 300p phone videos was like over distortion because iPhones were also around that time not that great.
In Dutch, we call it potato quality.
Yeah, with the good old potato, or like nowadays Android phones. But you know, watching all the YouTube all the videos on Facebook and stuff like this when new music came up and then sharing it with your friends, like really. I got soaked into this universe so quickly because I was living and breathing hardstyle around that time, for the biggest surprise to a lot of my friends because they don't understand why. But I don't know what it is, and I think that's why we all loving it the same. Something of this music, it just hits the right spot, you know. It's back in the days with the melodies. It brings out the emotion, it brings out the energy and the drop. When Raw came over, it gave it the whole like, what? There's even more.
There's exactly that.
There's even more, and it's like not hardcore was a bit too much for me always. Mm-hmm. You know, you all know. You listen to Anger Fist Mega Mix, Raise Your Fist, Anger Fist. Yeah. Everyone knows the stuff. But anyway, the Raw, when it slowly started to come up, you know, with like beat providers. Then when Radical Redemption came with the first album, you know. The moments when it's like, shit, there's even more, and it's like the right tempo, but a bit harder, even more underground. You know, somehow a lot of people feel like they like the underground. They like to swim against the
against the grain.
Yeah, against the grain.
Yeah.
And
good English, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm happy.
It was a pride moment for me.
Hey. Look, we're getting that teamwork here.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
But I feel like a lot of people on Raw like to swim against the grain, and it was for me by that time already, right? I never listened radio and all stuff. That was just not for me.
Yeah, you're more into dedicated kind of music.
Dedicated and into the underground, you know, and
how did you get started with Imperators? Because it wasn't just you in the beginning, right?
No, we were two. I was with Mitchell, with a guy I met through Hardstyle Mag, because I wrote articles for Hardstyle Mag back in the days. Because I brought me
some kind of a side quest.
I'm sorry, guys, but I did it for the press tickets. Look, I was poor. It was free access. You know what I mean? It helped me really to build my network where I am today. So without the guys, I wouldn't be here where I am today.
Shout out to Hardstyle Mag.
Hardstyle Mag, yeah. But look, me and Mitchell always had like a really good connection and went to parties. You know, we like the same music. We like the same energy. We had the same kind of mindset. He was a bit more structured than I am. I was a bit more the chaos, so to say.
Big chaos.
It really helped me to streamline anything or like everything. And then some point, bro, I don't know if it was DEF CON. There was an end show going on somewhere. We were at the extra Raw stage, right? Only dedicated people. You see the firework in the back, but you listen like the Raw around that time. And that was the moment we're like, look, shall we give it a shot or what? And then it all slowly but surely came naturally. Back in the days, it was when you look for a name, it had to be military or so, because Warface was my favorite artist around that time. Then, you know, you look like, okay, what all has been done already? Then we went to the Roman direction, and then all of a sudden, like I said, it all came really, really natural and also fairly quick, right? I think we had the whole, branding is a big word around that time, but we had the idea of how we can go on with this fairly quick. And I think, the rest is history for the people who know us longer.
Yeah.
Okay, and when did you decide to move to the Netherlands? Was it just you when you split up, or?
No, I split. I moved to the Netherlands after we had already our first shows, and after I really felt like, okay, I always believed in it, but I could never really, you know, you said it to me like, I think this can be cool. I think this is it, but making really a step with moving took me a long, long time. I think I moved in 2018. Yeah, I moved in 2018 in October, and we played shows already before that. So it was more like convenient, so I don't have to drive 6 hours by car back and forth each way. I had the big friend group through the partying already in the Netherlands, so that all helped me also to make the decision. And I was 23 around that time. I thought, look, if I don't do it now, when should I? I don't have a wife. I was 23 also. Tough. But I didn't have a wife, kids. I didn't have any responsibilities really, which kept me at the place where I am. Yeah. And I was like, look, if I move back in 10 years and I'm 33, there's no age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you wanted to take the shot.
Yeah, and really, I can recommend it to everyone. If you have a chance to make a big change in your life and you really feel like, okay, you can manage this, go for it. Because this forms your character, makes me the person I am today.
Yeah.
Well, that's some pretty good wisdom in the beginning of this episode.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to go like deep or anything, right? But I really believe like it's for me the best decision I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, you also mentioned that in your farewell video that you got in touch with a lot of people through your music career and that those people are some of your best friends.
Yes.
We'll get into that later on this episode, but we're going to our familiar segment, and that is the plafonddienst. Are we going to do that? Call that ceiling service now? That
we just keep it the plafonddienst.
Okay, perfect. The plafonddienst is our usual segment where you can send in your festival frustrations. Remember that talk that Marijn just had about insomnia, and you're laying in bed and you're thinking about, oh, I just bumped into something at this festival. Then we would like to know that. So head over to Instagram and send a voice clip, because you might be featured in this podcast. And for this first English episode, we already did something. So here is the first ever plafonddienst in English. And guys, I would like to have your opinions on this.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing is when you're trying to walk through the crowd and no one's moving for you, especially after you saying, excuse me, can I go through? No one moves, everyone just stares at you, and it's just a staring contest.
A standoff.
Who's got the bigger balls?
Okay, so this particular frustration, are you familiar with that?
It happens a lot. Like really a lot of times when you look just randomly in the crowd and you have to move on or get past someone, they just instantly think that you're like a threat or something, you know, like they're looking at you like, what the fuck are you doing? And then you just ask them, can you move past because I have to go there? And sometimes they just get like a little bit frustrated or something. I really have this like a lot of times, but maybe it's because of my face or something.
I think it's because of your face, right? I don't want to be the guy here when he's saying. For me, people move usually, but I have it.
Yeah, but you're like such a big guy, man.
Say less.
How tall are you?
2'1". That's it. The centimeter is really important, my friends.
Why?
But look, if it comes to other spots on your body, you're also saying that extra centimeter, don't you? See, but I have it towards the end of a party, right? When people are like, when they had a fun day already, and they're looking around and they don't realize that they're staying in the middle of the fucking way, and they just look at you. It's like, bro, just move the fuck aside. I'm so sorry. I don't want to swear. I don't want to swear here the whole time. But I was like, I don't understand what goes on in people's minds. Don't you also want to leave?
Yeah,
don't you want to go with everybody in the same direction and just go home?
Yeah, but at the same time, it happens like a lot of times during a festival. You know, like you're constantly like in a hallway or something. You know, that everyone has to get past you, and then sometimes people get frustrated and they just don't react in any way, and they just stand there. And most of the times, those guys are pretty big, like pretty muscular.
Yeah, well done.
And they are just
That was Duolingo.
and they are just like keep on dancing, and then you tap them and they just don't react or anything.
No, I know, but I also understand that frustration. Then you're standing there and all of a sudden, for some way, people think that this is now the way where everyone walks. I was like, no. So I don't want to even start it, right? So I either put one of my friends just in that way, or when it happens next to me, or I'm just going. I'm just like, no, I really hate it. If you really want to dance and then all of a sudden everyone just walks past you, like...
Were you also the guy that tried to control the traffic? As in, if you move your back somewhere else, then you were hoping that people would walk past by.
Or when I was like more going to parties, I was just dance even crazier, and then just people just stood away. I broke a girl's nose already on the dance floor.
Really?
What?
She was a bit smaller, stood too close. I was just like moving around. It's like, hey, her boyfriend apologized for her. I on this point, I don't know your name, and I'm deeply, deeply from the bottom of my heart sorry, but you saw me. I am not fucking. It's not like that I'm undercover there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. I'm having really trouble sometimes with smaller people because if I walk, it's just not in my.
In
In
your
a
eyes,
direct
right?
radius. I need like a bus driver, a little mirror like up here. But that's already like, I don't know, 8-9 years ago.
Okay, and for this frustration, do we have another solution than breaking some girl's nose?
Actually not. No, look, I think for this frustration, all it helps is just basically really trying to navigate the traffic as dumb as it sounds when you realize it's next to you and turn your back to it, right? Or if you are the person who is walking by people like that, right? Because we all may be in a situation like this, make sure you take enough room and don't take the tightest spots always to walk through, because that's also annoying. It's always tight if you want to go through the front and then through the middle and everyone stands this and this and you try to squeeze yourself through. It's like, bro, you see there's no space.
Yeah, most of the times, probably like at the most far right or the far left of the stage, that's pretty much not crowded over there. So if you are standing like in front of the stage with the group and then like really up front, just go through the barrier, and from there you can go to the middle and then
just like from the side. You know what I mean? You don't have to. I don't know. Look, I'm also the person who stands middle in the front because it's for me too fucking tight and everything. We were always left side and the back a bit. And there we had space. Just look for spots with space. And if you really want to go in the front, go from the side. Try to be polite and, hide your nose.
hide your nose, yeah.
Those are the festival acts. What would you like to say, Marijn?
Yeah, this plafonddienst that has been sent in, it wasn't from an Australian guy, right? Or something? Because I heard the accent.
I know the voice really well.
Yeah.
Who is it?
I think the biggest thing.
I look. You write it in the comments because I know it. I mean, I give you a tip. He's seeking asylum in Zaltbommel at the moment.
But talking about seeking asylum in Zaltbommel, how many Australians have crashed your couch?
For couch, bro, I'm even nicer. I have guest room. I have guest room mattresses. They're living like fucking kings at my place. But I had already like people like Andrex, Diesel, Firelight, now Toza, Stratosphere. I also friends from them who became my friends. Like I said, we talked about a bit in the off already. For me, I don't mind when I have the space, and as long as everyone keeps like my schedule a bit in mind, because in the end it's my house and I need to work and I have shit to do. So either you work and live with me, it's not a hotel, right? That's for me that's really the most important. But I'm just happy that I can help my friends, make their dream in Sofa come true, because it's really, really difficult at the housing market in the Netherlands at the moment, and it was already like this for a while. And when I have the space, I really don't mind. I like to have my friends around. I like to help my friends out. It's for me the most important, and I just want to see all my friends succeed. That's literally it. I think by now we've been like by 6 or 7 Australians.
Damn.
It's ZB Australian Asylum. I'm telling you, it's basically the embassy for Australia. If you think about it like this, fuck me.
Yeah, Zaltbommel is like a small town in the Netherlands, and I don't want to play it down or whatsoever, because in your words, it would have been like the metropole of
the uncrowned capital of the Netherlands.
No, but that's great though. That's great that you're giving your friends like the opportunity to stay at your place, but also to develop themselves in their careers.
Yeah, of course. Look, it's for me, my friends are the most important, and I think I would always do it. I don't know. For me, it's just normal. I don't even know how to say no in this regards, because for me, it's like, all right, I know situation is shit. As long as you make sure that you don't fall, as long as it doesn't get negative in any kind of way, because else you pack your bag and you're out. No. I'm really, really strict with this, right? Play by the rules, and it's not hard rules. It's just get up in time and be fucking productive, and we can have the best time ever. I'm not a hotel. That's literally it. I don't want to wash your clothes. I don't want to cook only for you. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Look, Wouter, if I would come to you and I would live like, I would try to live like a king and don't help in the house, don't do anything. How long would I be able to stay with you?
Paul.
How when it's on the girlfriend, probably like a day, but that's a different story. But if I would play a lot, if I would help and I would not be a burden, it's a different. It's a different story, And then it's also fine if it's like 2-3 weeks or whatever. I think Toza is staying already like longer than the 4 weeks with me. But it's great. It all works out fantastic. It's really really nice to have him around.
Of course, really grateful for you to offer a praise.
Yeah,
so
that for one, but also we're really productive. It's good to have like-minded people around, and it builds all of us. It builds all of us up.
Yeah.
That's a TikTok clip right there.
All right, let's jump forward a little bit because, it's been a while and you've been at a lot of places performing as Imperators. The DEFCON 1 Blue, the Decibel main stage?
Yes, when this is out, I played my first time Decibel main. I'm really excited.
Damn. And also, you also have Intense Festival, Reverse, and soon Down Under. You got a lot of couches to crash in Australia, I guess.
Hey, I don't need a hotel over there. I can be sure about that. I will get back at y'all.
You really have an impressive resume when it comes down to festivals. But now you're ending the project Imperators. You just dropped the video and explained a little bit about it, but just for the full story, can you explain how you have come to this decision?
I will try to keep it short, right? Look, I'm playing with the thought already for a while. The first time it came up last year in November, and it was just like, a conversation with a friend in combination with, around that time, my grandfather got cancer or diagnosed with cancer, and he's over 80. So, you think in the first case, like, all right, that was it, right? And without painting too black here, the picture. Mm-hmm. But he beat cancer. Everything is great. He's alive and well. He's cracking jokes as if nothing happened. But it's the first time you realize in your life, like, okay, I have weekends where I play shows. I still work normal, what most people don't know. I still have a 32-hour job. So I'm basically around the clock. I'm busy, and it was also not easy for me to prioritize something else than my work. So that was the beginning, and around April this year, I really made the decision because I feel like I've been able to do so many great things, as you've said, and I'm forever grateful for everyone who's supporting me in this. But I also realized a little bit that I never really had the time to really let everything soak in. You know what I mean? To be like, really, man, I've been to Australia 3 times. I've been to Mexico twice. I've played in Europe probably in every country I could possibly play. I've been able to do so many incredible things which nobody of my village where I'm coming from or a lot of cities is able to do, right?
Yeah.
And I just realized I've been in this hamster wheel for too long, always like chasing the next thing and more and more and more and more and more. I just need time to process everything what happened to me, and I don't want to drag this on. You know what I mean? I think I could have probably still have a great year next year. I could probably still do a lot of cool things under Imperators, but I really feel that it is time for me to take a step back and be like, hey, this is as great as it could be with Imperators, and I rather make a break on my peak, or peak is difficult said, but on a high note, and let people, still have some time to spend time with me and enjoy everything, but also to think about myself and be able to take like a step back. And I really think that this is something we are missing in our scene a little bit, is that we are able to take a step back and get back to ourselves, right? We are 365 days a year working because it's our own company. Yes, it's a great job. Yes, we are able to do cool places, but a lot of my friends and artists, and myself included, we're spending hours in the studio. We are traveling around the world, and traveling sounds always fun, but I spent last weekend 18 hours in cars. from Friday midday until Sunday morning.
So 18 hours, that's 3 working days in 1 weekend already on traveling.
Yes, and that's just cars. There's no flights included.
Jesus.
So you have to imagine that this is all great and it's fun and I love doing it, but it also takes its toll. And I just hope that this also helps maybe other people to realize, look, it's not bad to take like 2-3 months of a break, you know, recharge, go on a holiday with your girl, go back, recharge in the studio, write new music. You know, you're not falling off or anything. It's like so quick living. I can't even count how many new artists came up this year. I'm a fucking dinosaur. I'm 30. I don't want to say that all the people older than me are antique, but you know.
Thanks.
But, you know, for me, it just came the realization I really need to take some time for me, chill, and just appreciate everything I've been able to do. And I'm not dying or anything, right? You'll probably still see me here and there, still at the party, and you know, I just live and breathe hardstyle, so to say, right? I've been in this industry for so long. So long, bro, I really sound like an old man. I've been long enough in this industry to say that I think I know to an extent how it goes, and I really hope that some take out of this also like a positive part. You know, I've been able to do the craziest things. I see people running around with my tattoo, bro. If you would have told me 10 years ago, when I tell my dad there's people with my tattoo, he says, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, bro. Why would they do that for you? I was like, bro, I'm just the most...
I love the way how you call your dad, bro.
Look, I love my dad, but that guy, like I said, he has not seen anything from the world, and that's not with disrespect, but he has been in his little bubble for so long, and I've been able to burst out of it and see so much, and I just sometimes don't know how to handle it. You know what I mean? It's just I can't even handle when people come to me and say how much they love the music and everything. Then seeing someone with a tattoo, I would love to give them everything I got on me in that moment because but that's so fucking awesome. But how do you deal with this, right? I've also gone to therapy just to talk about, you know, to just try to get my mind some kind of straight. I don't want to sit here with 40 and be like all depressed when this is all not anymore.
Yeah, because as an artist, especially when you are achieving some kind of things, that you would always like to take the next step. So you're always eager to do more and more and more. But especially when you're already having like a working job in the midweek and you're also traveling that much and you're maintaining a DJ career 24/7, then it takes its toll, like you said. You made the decision in April, you said, right?
I made for myself in April the decision that I am going to do it, right? The exact momentum that came a little bit later on, right? Because it's a different thing between saying to yourself that you want to do it, and then, you know, I talk with Aversion as example, with Bloodlust, was like really my close friends about, and they all say like, I understand. Say like, it's good, right? They didn't try to talk me into doing something different. They're just fully supportive on it, and I really, really appreciate that. And I hope that more people start to realize that you don't have to be in that hamster wheel 24/7.
So, for instance, like Future Noise a couple of years ago, who said, okay, I'm going to take a break from performing, still making music though, and I will come back. But for now...
Just take some time for yourself, take a step back, come back with more bangers and more quality music, because it's so hard nowadays to... On one hand, it's really hard to stand out because there's just so much output. On the other hand, it's never been easier making music because we have all the resources, what we talked about before. When I really got into trying making music, I didn't have fucking resources. I knew one guy who had FL Studio. right? But I just think that it would do for a lot of people good to take like a break. You don't have to do like a half year or a year, you know, just 3 months, 4 months, go somewhere nice in the winter when it's anyways cold and shit here in the Netherlands. No disrespect, Germany is not much better. But take some time off, write new music, find yourself, rewire yourself.
And was that also an option for you? Like, are you quitting Imperators like after the performers that are still coming? Are you definitely quitting, or are you just taking a step back?
No, I will definitely quit with Imperators. We will see what the future holds in general, right? I work at the moment on my final track for the Imperators project, but I think I've done with this project everything I really wanted to do and everything I possibly could do. I have like one performance I would have still liked to do as like Supremacy, but it didn't really work out, and I made my peace with it. You know, I'm not, like I said, I played every stage I possibly could. I was Decibel Main, my number one stage I really wanted to play because it's my favorite festival for forever already. And we will see new horizons, right? As some people may say, if one door closes, another opens. But I just don't know. I'm really looking forward for some time to not tour, to go back to the family. I'll just keep living in the Netherlands because also a lot of people from Germany ask me if I move back. No, I stay in the Netherlands. I love my life here. But
you're the mayor of Salvomo, so you can't leave.
Hey, for the next term, my friends, watch out, ZB politicians. Your boy is coming for you. But you know, I just am happy to take some time off. I will also try to delete all the socials from my phone, right, and really rewire. You know, we can play a game. What is your screen time? Gemiddeld the screen time. We can look it up right now.
Yeah, the average screen time, I already know it.
Yeah, me too.
Mine is by 4.5 hours.
Oh.
Approximately. 4.5, 5.
I got 6.5 hours.
I got 10.
10?
10.
Look,
Holy shit.
Look, bro, and then we dumb it down. Of course, we need our phone because I order my groceries. Look, you have like an hour, maybe an hour and a half is really for what you need to do. My job is on social media. Do I need really 4 hours of Instagram screen time? No. What do I do there? I don't post for 4 hours. I don't read comments I barely try to read comments because it's like either the positive or the negative can influence you in such kind of way, right?
Yeah.
But what you don't need that screen time. You try to, I don't want to be hypocritical here because I have the same. But I try now to use my time to dumb it down and use my time different, to find a different hobby where I can spend time with, trying to live life. You have friends, you have a girlfriend potentially who is maybe needing your attention a tiny bit more than you might believe.
Sorry.
Look, I'm since last year out of.
For that,
girlfriend. I'm out of a 7 years relationship since last year, right? And that was to an extent 100% also my fault because the priorities. Right, and I know it, right, and it's not really, you don't realize it in the moment, you know what I mean, and that's why I just try to say it sometimes, you know, put the fucking phone away when you hang out with your friends. You don't need it. You have everyone you need next to you.
Yeah.
When we go out with the boys when I'm in Germany, we put the phones in the middle on a tower. Whoever picks the phone up first pays the bill for everyone. Good luck.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Good luck, my friends. You can trust me. With especially the German guys that you don't want to pay the bill at the end. I had to do it once or twice already because my phone rang. I was too dumb to put it on silent. But, you know, in any way, where I want to go with this is I'm happy with the decision. I had a tough day on Thursday when I did the announcement, right? Because I was overwhelmed with the love. You know, I didn't expect it. For me, it was like I said, you're so used to it. You're on your little hamster wheel. You keep on going, and you know already in your head where you want to go. But when it's really out, 99% of the people didn't know. Right, and also people I talk to frequently didn't know because I just didn't want to make a big thing out of it. I had to announce it, and I don't want to announce it like, "Hey, I'm gone tomorrow." But you know, you had to go with it, and I had so many really nice phone calls with colleagues and really nice conversations about it. And in the end, everyone said, look, I fully understand. Yeah. Getting off the socials for a bit, doing again things you really want to do. Yeah. Don't chase like, oh, I have to make next year a new live act. Oh, I have to do this because promoters may think, oh, I have to do this because my agency tells me to do. No, it's our art. Do what you really want. Yes, you have to obey like a tiny bit into like, play a tiny bit by the rules, right? But I feel like we've all been pushed. We're like 400 hamsters in the same fucking wheel, running for our lives, right? I think there's like only 2-3 people I still don't understand how they do it. Like in Virtual, they have 3 acts and still pumping out hits.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like, bro, how you do that? You have the life also. But he seemingly get everything together, and I have my maddest respect for
You also
that.
got a kid, right?
Yeah, and then the most successful hardcore live act was Slaughterhouse, and Virtual was industrial music and hardcore and Bomb Squad. Bro, how do you make music for all of the acts at the same time? And you have your life, and you play your shows.
And doing this for more than 20 years.
Bro, I had the same conversation with him, bro. You make, anyways, right? Well, it's like there are people and individuals who can do it, but I think that the overall mass of people is not made for this.
It shouldn't be the norm.
No, and it's also really tough, bro. I'm not used. Like again, I'm not coming from a place where attention in this way has been a norm. And then getting this feels in the beginning great, and it's all fun and games. But when it's not there anymore, you have to be able to also prepare yourself that you will not do this for 60 years. You don't want to be the guy with 65 playing at 4 a.m. at some field in the Netherlands. Like no disrespect, but it's like it can't be the goal, right?
Yeah.
And you have to prepare yourself a little bit to get all the clutter and all the attention sometimes out of your mind, I believe, right? And yet again, my view is not the view for everyone, and I don't want to speak for everyone, but I really think that I hope that this is also a kind of a wake-up call for some people, not for
Because
everyone.
you see it with a lot of colleagues as well.
Yeah, and I don't want to name drop, but it's just a lot of people said, bro, I wish I could do the same. It's not, you don't wish, just literally say to your agency, I don't do shows from November till February, right? Because you miss, if you're financially and look, your life has to be able to,
Of course.
You still have to get to pay your bills, you still have responsibilities. If you can manage it, or at least 1 month, just make sure you can really go like, they put the phone away. Most of people have anyway social media managers and blah, 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 blah. Take some time off, rewire your fucking brain. You will feel so much better.
Yeah, it makes sense though. And I have massive respect for your decision, because I know that you're one of the most hardworking people within the artist. I think Marijn can acknowledge that as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So for you to make this decision to put on the brake instead of the brake putting it on you,
Yeah,
I really have massive respect for that. And I believe that the phones are a most important thing right now in our lives, especially working, but it shouldn't take over your lives.
No,
Right?
we also like live. Everywhere you go, you do something. You look on your phone just to be like, oh, what has happened in the last half hour? Nothing is so important. And people who have my WhatsApp number have read my status. It's replies can take 7 till 10 days. If it's urgent, call me. And I really fucking mean it.
Yeah.
Don't wait for a text and be mad if I don't reply within 48 hours. If it's urgent, you will call me.
Yeah,
all right?
true.
That's what we have a fucking
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, what helped me a lot was a working phone, because with hard news, the news goes on 24/7. So, for instance, you're finally have some time with your girl on a Saturday. Well, that has been a while with all the festivals going, and then all of a sudden, ping, there's some news. Yeah, okay, the work goes on, and once again, your family time takes the toll.
Yeah.
So, have you ever thought of doing a business phone and a personal phone?
Yeah, but I'm a bit more afraid that everything gets then sucked into both. Like, I'm really bad with boundaries when it comes to work, because work has been my number one priority for so many years. I'm working since I'm 16, right? And I've worked 2 jobs I've worked 80 hours, 100 hours weeks with 2 jobs for survival around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So phone was something as a distraction. Then phone became work.
Yeah.
But you're used to have it always also for distraction. So I think I wouldn't be able to manage having 2 phones, and I think that both would go just like hand in hand, and then I'm akimbo addicted to the phone. Then I'm walking around like this. Right? But,
Wait, I'll call you.
yeah. So I don't know. I really, I also don't want to get like all deep and depressing in here, but depressing here. All I want to say is we're living in a really, really fast-paced generation. All of us. And I think it is sometimes just good to take a step back, reevaluate where you are, reevaluate where your priorities laid the past 5 years, and where you may want to put them in 5 years.
Yeah.
I would like to have a kid at some point in my life. I would, you know what I mean? I still have life in front of me.
Yeah.
And it's not all just fucking work. And for people like me who have problems with working less, and my friends have been on my ass on that for forever, because I barely take time off. I'm always I'm always, chasing the next thing, working on the next projects, trying to make something different and unique, and, it just took over life. And I just want to try to have some life again. Who knows how long it takes? Who knows what will happen in the future? If I could look in the future, I would not make money with music, because then I would sit somewhere with like a crystal ball and tell you exactly what you want to hear. You will make a lot of money in the future. And anyways, look, I'm really happy with the choice. On the Thursday was a tough day. I didn't really know how to handle all the love, basically, because I thought more people are mad because I disappoint them. But the response has been so positive that also, the artist said, bro, it's good that you think about yourself. And I just hope that more people start to think about themselves instead of thinking about what the expectations towards them are in regards to, you need to make 400 new tracks, you need to have a new line effect, you need to do this, you need to do that, else you're not relevant. It's not fucking true. If music is good, it will pay out, I think.
Mic drop.
I'm so sorry. I'm like I'm oversharing here. Maybe
You should start a TED talk or something, man.
Look, bro. I really am. I can't spoil too much, but there's a potential that something in a podcast direction may come your way someday.
Hey.
I really like this kind of concept, right? Because in the end, it's just talking, My opinion is not what everyone else wants to hear or needs to hear, but it's my opinion and it's my way of view on things. And as long as there's one person out there who thinks afterwards, like, the boy is talking the talk and is walking the walk, then I'm happy. You know what I mean?
The big cast.
Yeah, the big cast.
And if we're going to look back in all these years, what is, for Imperators, your most favorite highlight?
Most favorite. Look, let me give you 3. Is that cool? Because breaking it down to 1 is the same as one person asks you, what's your favorite track?
Okay.
Tough cookie.
Yeah, sure.
I think Knockout 2023 was one of my favorite things I've ever done, because we were with the guys for 2 weeks at the other side of the world playing the biggest festival ever, the biggest festival in Australia. Had an Airbnb. We went skydiving, which I'm afraid of heights, so you can't even. I was sleeping with a virgin in a room, and Robin, I'm sorry to overshare here, but we were laying the night before in bed, because we jumped at 6 a.m. and we were laying there in bed and we didn't sleep. We were like, fuck, are we really going to skydive? Because we all said, I jump when you jump, and the person said, I jump when you jump, and all of a sudden everyone said it, and then we booked it. That was one of those moments.
And that was the time where you got the tattoo, right?
Yeah, we got the pleasure doing business tattoo somewhere. Bro, I can't even. But like I said, that was a core memory trip wise. I think for me, the next thing is my decibel performances. I'd like to package this way, because I always had a great time. Decibel was always packed. The vibe was always there. I really, really enjoy it. It's for me every time a highlight in the year.
Yeah, from extra raw to main.
Yeah. The live stage last year was also hectic. We did a costume change. Costume sounds also weird. An outfit change during the set, which also I have not seen like this before yet. So we tried. And what is another highlight? I really think for me, career-wise, is that I've been able to work with everyone I really wanted to work with, music-wise. I've worked with people I started listening hardstyle for. I've worked with my best friends, and I think that is like as an overall experience. I can't really point at like one event, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really difficult to summarize 8 years
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I think you're doing a great job by putting those 3
Yeah.
on top of the list.
Merci.
So
Merci.
before we go into your final performances, we're going to another standard segment in our podcast, and that is the top 5.
Top 5.
The top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah, it's time for Marijn's segment, which is the top 5. And this could be about literally everything.
Yeah.
It could be festival related, it could be not. But Marijn is weekly preparing something, and now he's going to do the top 5 in English. So, Marijn, what have you prepared for our international audience this time?
Top 5 artists with the most tracks on their name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I made a top 5, and the first one that is D-Block and Estefan.
Is it you go? Is it is number on 1 is the one with the most tracks?
Yeah.
Or is on
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's building it up.
Before I start dive into the top 5, it's an estimated count because there are like so many tracks and also
That's the
unreleased.
That's the preparation. I see.
Well, I did quite some preparation on this one.
I can imagine.
Okay, so at number 5, D-Block and Estefan, they have an estimated count of 160 releases, which comes down to almost 9.5 hours of music.
Damn. And is that included like DBSTF as in the EDM
And Ghost Stories.
and
uh,
stories or
Yeah, all included, and that's around 160 tracks. So that's already pretty much like for real.
I would say, guys, D-Block Estefan, comment underneath this video if this is even correct.
All right, this one is from Frequences on number 4. We had a podcast with him with the guys last week, and they counted on 173 releases.
Ooh.
That's around 10 hours of music. Okay, on number 3, Radical Redemption. He has an estimated count of 185 releases.
Damn.
10.5 hours of music, but you just have to imagine that 10.5 hours of music, like, so that's so much tracks also.
First of all, now when I think about myself, I come to maybe like 2 hours of music.
Can you imagine?
I thought you were about to say Radical Redemption has 10 albums.
Yeah.
All right, the last two, those guys are like really extreme. So
number 2.
yeah, Noise Controllers. He has an estimated count of 200 releases, which comes down to almost 12 hours of music. But the number 1,
He even, sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but he even did like a party to celebrate 100 releases as Noise Controllers, right?
yeah.
So now it's 200?
Yeah, it's all over 200.
Number 1.
So yeah, but the number 1, what do you think it is? What do you think it is?
That's a good. I've not even thought about all the old people. So I think like, okay, who really? If we really go that far back, I don't know. Showtek didn't make so much music. Is it the Noise Controllers direction, like Generation?
Yeah.
Or older?
Yeah, I think they will be
Day.
older. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
good.
day.
It's day. Look, hey, we get the information in some way. Look, I've actually no idea.
Shall I say?
Yeah.
It's TNT.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
They have like combined with the two.
Technoboy and Tuneboy, yeah.
They have like 20 aliases.
20 aliases!
Yeah, 20 aliases, and all based on all the artists together combined. You know,
Yeah.
so like from Technoboy and Tuneboy. So 20 aliases, and they have around 400 until 500 releases. It's like an estimated count because no one has really like an official document of all the releases combined together, but almost 400 of between 400 and 500 releases, which comes down to around 25 hours of music.
Whoa, holy shit. And they're still pumping out music.
Yeah.
Not that much solo anymore. They do now more like TNT itself, but they're still releasing so much music.
Yeah, and those are big hits.
Or 20 something million with the 2003 track.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they even reached over 2 million monthly listeners on Spotify.
Which is the
It's insane.
biggest hardstyle act? Potentially.
That's Brennan Hart at this moment. At
yeah.
this moment. But I just looked it up. Technoboy has also aliases as the 2 Best Enemies, Builder.
Yeah.
He has a whole lot. So yeah, TNT that deserves number 1.
So, I'm giving away one stealth can for someone who put all the artist name from them under the comments. Wouter, you have to send it out, and checking Reddit doesn't count, my friends. I need your own counting.
Okay,
But-
the winner gets a can of Stouts.
But imagine it's 20 aliases in
Yeah.
total. Fuck.
Yeah, but that's also from techno aliases and stuff, you know.
How long do they make music now? Do they-
A long time. They've been there since the beginning, right?
yeah.
Well, well looked up for.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. I didn't thought of TNT, but it makes so much sense. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
In the end, they have like so much music, and with those aliases,
Yeah.
but 400 until 500 releases. You just have to imagine how much hours of producing that music.
I'm waiting for a TNT all day long, my friend.
All day long,
They
and all
can-
week long.
They get if they play like every track, it's estimated on around 3.5 minutes. Like in general, like 3.5 minutes, and that will be 26 hours of music. So they can do like an all day long.
all weekend long.
Oh, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's really crazy. So yeah, that's just the top 5 with artists with their most tracks on their name.
Yeah, well done, Marijn. Okay, before we go on, as you might know, taking a podcast and making it costs a lot of time. That's why we would like to ask for your support. Let us know how do you like this English podcast, because it's the first time for us as well. If you're watching on YouTube, then please subscribe to the channel, because then you'll get informed about a new English podcast as well. And if you're listening on Spotify, then give us a 5-star rating, because now we have the full 5 stars in more than 700 ratings. So that's pretty good. I said it last week with Freaksters as well. If I see this on Booking.com or Google Maps, I will definitely hit that hotel.
Of course.
But that's really cool. Like I said, for me, it's already that you do now English is a really, really big step, right? Because more people get to enjoy this, because you talk about cool topics, you talk with people they really like, and Dutch is not the easiest language as a non-German to
course
listen
not.
to.
Yeah.
Right? For Germans, it's alright, but I also understand why you did it. So
Yeah. But I do need to get used to talking English.
Look, bro, we all do, right? It's also not mother language for me, but I think it's a common ground where you meet each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
And Marijn said before this podcast, okay, how many stouts should I drink before I talk English fluently?
Yeah.
So how much alcohol did you have at work today? Tell me.
Okay,
did not.
let's move on.
Let me talk to the boss. I see the boss right there.
Okay, let's talk about what's still ahead. Imperators. Is it Imperators or Imperators?
Okay. Tomato, my friend. Really, I don't mind. For me, I say Imperators, but I have people who say Imperator. So for me, anything works really.
Or like the Dr. Dovenschmiers,
Yeah.
the Imperators.
Yeah, Imperator.
Look, works for me as well.
Okay, but we're going to talk about what's still ahead. Before it's really over, you still have like a lot of cool things coming up. Like mentioning Knockout in Australia. You already said it. I believe it's the second largest festival within harder styles, and especially that production in Australia is insane.
It's in a stadium, my friends. It's not that I play there, but it's in a stadium.
You're part of it.
Yes.
And there's also Into the Madness, Germany's largest harder styles festival. If I read it correctly, then you're still working on a anthem or soundtrack or something. What is up with that?
Yes, there's still some cool things coming this year. I will be able to play in Japan as well. I don't even know if it's announced when I announced this, but I will be playing in Japan as well.
Hey,
Really nice.
There's some cool events planned. We're working now on the final schedule, right? So to make sure we get to make just the most out of the remaining time, so to say. There is an OST coming, indeed. It's for a German event, all right? I actually haven't checked beforehand on how much I can say, but for the same event, there's also the hosting. So the OST and the hosting goes like hand in hand. It's really, really, really cool to cooperate with them. When we have the allowance, until this episode is up, you will see it right there, the event name. If not, then I'm just sitting here pretty dumb with my fingers up. But no, there's still an OST coming. I have a hosting. I'm allowed to play like some really cool shows. Plus, there's still music coming. I have a collab with Beerfront still, which needs to be released. The track with the Dope Doctor. I've the collab with a version still. The collab with Adjust still. And the OST.
Paradise album?
Nah, I still don't know how I get fit that all in the release schedule until the end of November. But you guys get still music from me, and I'm also considering of just dropping like a SoundCloud mix at the end with basically all the begun projects and everything I've like left on my computer. Every live edit, every tool, every, I don't know, mashup is maybe a bit wonky, but I still want to get rid of basically everything and just show people everything I got. Maybe I put it on YouTube as well. I don't know, but there's still actually a lot coming.
Yeah,
I have more releases than I possibly did like the first half year.
So you're taking like a proper farewell, not only event-wise, but also music-wise.
Yes, also event-wise, music-wise. I will. My set style changes now a little bit. That I play like a lot of my own. I basically play not only own music, so to say, but I also try to get some stuff from 218 out and try, just to. Classics is a really, really big word, but like an old,
like Valhalla, or
yeah. Well, I have a bomb of a remix. I can't play the original. Fraud did a fucking good job.
Yeah.
But playing tracks like Total Domination, the Scantrax group tracks I really want to play again, Blackout, and use some stuff from the Alpha Legion EP. Just bring some of the older sounds back. I just have to figure out a way of how to put it all together, because I've also so much new music I need to play, and I don't want to play the same set over and over.
Yeah,
but that will be my main focus now. It's going to be an emotional one probably, but I hope there's no cameras at the last show, so nobody sees me cry.
Yeah, but that all makes sense though.
Yeah.
And okay, so and then after your final Imperator shows in November, what's next?
Nothing. I will literally, after the last show, I'll make a post, and it may sound really harsh and cold, but I will delete after the post 5 minutes later Instagram from my phone and begin my abstinence, my social media abstinence for as long as I possibly can. My goal is 2 months. I am already really happy if I can make 1 month, because it's also in December then, so Christmas and everything. But that is the first thing. Deleting all the socials from the phone, heading up to the family, check out how everyone is doing there. Hit up my old friends, go to the gym. I don't know. I was just mainly chilling.
Enjoying life.
Yeah, I've also like a holiday booked for January, but I don't really know yet if I will be able to make it. Because I just don't know. I can't. I'm really bad with planning so far ahead in this regard. And, I will still make music and everything, right? For that, I just really love doing it, but just more for like what I really, really want to do. No, maybe if it's hardstyle, it's hardstyle. If it's house, it's house. If it's drum and bass, it's drum and bass. But this also doesn't mean I'm coming back with a drum and bass alias or anything. So there's boom. Scoop. Yeah. Hey. But there's no further planning for this. I just want to take life as it comes, and whenever I get zenuwachtig,
Nervous.
Yeah, whenever I get nervous and I feel the itch coming, then we will see.
Will you still be attending festivals and stuff?
Yeah. I bought tickets for the Origins EFOS event. I want to go to the Supremacy in
January.
Yeah.
Supremacy Classics.
If you're not on holiday.
Yeah, that's actually in my holiday
This is what he talks about when it comes down to planning.
I have the ticket at least, and else ticket swap. But no, I don't really have any concrete plans. Right, I really want to enjoy the last shows. Now, try to meet as many of y'all out there. Right, have the best time, and then just end on a high note, and try to go from the really high note to just 5 steps back with no socials, and just try to be again in the here and yet.
That's a concrete plan as well, right? So,
look, for now it's all theoretically. I still have to do it. But it's the same with the announcement, right? Until the day until I hit the post, I could have also been that I don't post it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you get like a weak knees
Yeah.
But now it's out, and there's no turning back. Man, a word, my friends.
Okay, and final question. Do you have anything to say to the viewers at home?
I mean, if I can make it to live my dream for an extended amount of time, then, and I mean it, and it sounds the most cringe and cliche and cheesy ever, literally anyone can do it. Get your ass up, work, get off your phone, and try to get as fucking productive as you can. And literally, sky's the limit, right? We're all able to live or to do what we really love doing. And if you get to that point in life, bro, nothing can ever stand in your way. That is quality of life. The money on your account is secondly. But
Big K back on the mic drop.
Yeah.
look, I don't want to sound always like a fucking wise guy or anything, because I'm not. But it sounds so dumb how many life coaches have told me, or have told us online, we all can do it. Blah, blah, blah. We literally all can do it. All right.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Look, and else, I see you on the tripod really soon, right? We try to get some shit going, and then. But no, I really, like I said, I really appreciate you guys for having me. I think this is probably the longest episode you guys have ever made. I'm sorry for that.
Unfortunately, not.
No?
No.
Oh.
With Radical Redemption, we went on for more than 1.5 hours.
And in the first season, we had like Sefa for 3 hours. So
Wow, that's fucking cool. Like I said, long term. Let them know in the comments if you like more short and Bro, a lot of call to actions from your boy and else. Send them a voice message and say, "Hey Wouter, I want that you talk longer than 45 minutes with me," and he will listen.
No, what we do listen to is, you really put yourself out there and you gave it your all. So we decided, okay, if we go over the 45 minutes,
yeah.
then we pleasantly have it because your story is really interesting, and we're really glad to have you as our first English guest on the podcast. So thank you for coming, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you for you two for going out of your way and make it in English, and I really hope that everyone likes what we've talked about. And for more English episodes, you know what you have to do: Harastic Boys. And I don't know. Let's bring the baby home, I'd say.
Yeah, thank you for coming, and good luck with the final shows and the final preparations, music-wise. Marijn, the final question: how was it to have your podcast in English?
Like I said, I really had to get used to it, to talking English. But I would like to do some more, because there are a lot of English-speaking artists that are really interesting as well to join the Plafondien. So
I think it's also good, like you got like way more like steady. Like after the first few minutes, it's always difficult to get into like this kind of setting. But as soon as you start talking, and I know I talked a lot, but as soon as you start talking and you get into it, right?
Yeah.
It also is like, okay, getting out of your comfort zone and making shit happen.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the podcast, I stuttered a little bit, and now it's getting more used to it. It's getting more fluently. So.
He's ready for another hour.
I just wanted to say he's ready for another guest.
Let's fucking go, man!
And here's the next English guest.
That will be something.
Okay, I think the first episode went really well.
Yeah.
So let's say that we'll do an English one like every once in a month or something. Depends on the schedule, because all the artists are so busy.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So
from December on, I can come once a week. Don't worry.
You're always welcome, Big K.
Yeah.
Well, thank you once again for coming, and thank you for watching and listening. We hope to see you at the next English episode of Plafondienst, the Hardstyle podcast. So thank you for watching, and see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
This podcast is powered by Mill Lions. Use discount code HARDNEWS10 for a 10% discount on your festival outfit.